A man in sunglasses walks across a dusty field. Behind him, 2 lions pace in a steel cage. He tosses them meat. No fear, no guards, just silence, gold chains, and desert air. A voice speaks. He made $47 billion, not from tech or oil, but nuclear waste dumped under small towns in southern Italy. People died. He vanished. This isn't fiction. It's real. You know Elon Musk. He tweets, builds rockets, courts headlines. He's loud, legal, visible. But the men you're about to meet, they ruled in shadows. No interviews, no fame, just silence, fear, and blood. Bulletproof vans, fortresses, blacked out photos. Their wealth came from drug routes, land grabs, and bodies buried beneath highways and forgotten towns. Even governments looked away. This story isn't about business empires. It's about criminal ones that still live beneath our cities. From Capone's Chicago to a Serbian kingpin dancing with pop stars in 2009. These men didn't crave followers. They bought judges, erased evidence, and ruled countries without speaking. The richest man alive? He never earned a legal cent. He took everything. From wars, from rivers, from death. Forget the billionaires you know. These 6 didn't want fame. They wanted power, and they got it. It's 1931. The most feared man in America walks into a courtroom. Not in handcuffs, not in shame, but in a custom suit and $1,000 shoes. His name? Al Capone. And the strange part? The government doesn't get him for murder. Not for bootlegging, or extortion, or the dozens of bodies in the river. They take him down for not paying taxes. That's right, tax evasion. Because Al Capone didn't just run a gang. He ran a city. At his peak, Capone controlled 10,000 speakeasies in Chicago. During Prohibition, alcohol was banned, but Capone made sure it flowed through every bar, club, and corner. His empire wasn't just about smuggling. It was an entire infrastructure. Breweries hidden under laundromats, delivery trucks marked as bakeries, politicians in his pocket. He taxed neighborhoods like a king. And if you didn't pay, you vanished. He didn't hide in shadows. He lived like a celebrity. He drove bulletproof Cadillacs with sirens so he could beat traffic like the mayor. His Miami mansion had secret escape tunnels in case of a raid. His favorite hotels had machine gun nests set up in hidden walls. He wore silk suits, smoked $100 cigars, and tipped waiters with diamonds. But every room he entered had a man watching the door, and another watching the man watching the door. In just 7 years, Capone went from a street thug to a billionaire by 1930s standards. Long before tech startups or Wall Street hacks, he was turning illegal beer into untouchable wealth. He made more in a month than most banks, and he didn't need a website. Just fear, muscle, and whispers. But Capone wasn't stupid. He knew public opinion mattered. He staged photos handing out food to orphans, smiling with babies, playing baseball with kids. The newspapers called him Robin Hood, the gangster with a heart, and he loved it. He paid off reporters. He turned trials into performances. But the truth behind the smile, his enemies were tortured, buried, or burned alive. His war with rival gangs left entire streets covered in blood. He turned Chicago into a battlefield, then smiled for the camera like he was mayor. When the law finally caught up, it wasn't for the blood or the bullets. It was for $200,000 in unpaid taxes. That's how powerful he was. Murder was normal, but missing paperwork? That got him locked up. Al Capone didn't invent crime, but he industrialized it. He built a system so big, the law couldn't even touch the parts that mattered, only the paperwork. And in doing so, he created the blueprint for every dark empire that came after. From 1989 to 2016, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman ruled the drug routes from Mexico to the US. Not like a king, but like a ghost. His cartel, Sinaloa, moved over 500 tons of cocaine a year, operated in 50-plus countries, and reached into politics, police, and military ranks. Some say he even bribed presidents. He didn't just break laws, he built systems beneath them. His empire used jets, boats, and even submarines, but tunnels were his masterpiece. Dug under borders with lights, fans, and rail tracks, they moved drugs and people invisibly. One tunnel led straight to his prison shower. He vanished through it on a motorbike. Locals loved him. He handed out food, built schools, and bought loyalty. But when kindness failed, he enforced silence with fear. His escapes made headlines. In 2001, he slipped out in a laundry cart, In 2015, a mile-long tunnel. Each time, the world watched, but couldn't catch him. Until 2016. He now sits in a US Supermax prison. No tunnels, no escape. Just echoes of a narco empire that outsmarted borders, satellites, and entire governments. El Chapo wasn't just a drug lord. He was a silent CEO of chaos, and his story defined a generation of global crime. In the 1970s and 80s, while men like Pablo Escobar made headlines, one woman ruled the cocaine empire with more violence, strategy, and cruelty than all of them. Her name? Griselda Blanco, known on the streets as La Madrina, the godmother. She wasn't just a cartel queen, she was the architect of Miami's blood-soaked drug wars. Colombia feared her, so did Florida. While others moved with men and machetes, Griselda used fear like perfume, subtle, lingering, and deadly. She was a mother of 4, and also a ruthless killer. She executed lovers at breakfast, once killing a bodyguard and boyfriend in front of her kids over coffee. She didn't blink, she didn't apologize, she simply moved on. To her, people were tools or threats, nothing in between. Her drug mules included children, hidden in fake-bottom strollers or clothes sewn with powder. She turned innocence into armor and loyalty into a death sentence. Her wealth wasn't just real, it was ornamental. Diamond-studded pistols, gold bathroom fixtures, and private islands to cool off from the heat of the DEA. She once allegedly ordered a hit from her jacuzzi phone. She wasn't hiding. She was daring you to come. By the time she turned 50, she'd made over $2 billion. Without social media, without Silicon Valley, without a single IPO. She used bodies, boats, and blood to build her kingdom. Her power wasn't flashy. It was cold and final. Her rivals died trying to be her. Her sons followed in her footsteps. Most didn't survive. And yet, in 2012, the queen of cocaine, the female Scarface, the woman who painted Miami red, was gunned down buying meat at a butcher shop. No bodyguards, no fortress, just a quiet walk and a bullet to the head. She didn't go out in a blaze of glory. She went out like anyone else. But make no mistake, Griselda Blanco changed the rules. She showed that terror has no gender, that a mother can be a monster, that you don't need an army when you control the fear inside every room. From 1993 to 2023, Matteo Messina Denaro wasn't just a fugitive. He was a phantom trailing a $4.3 billion shadow, the most powerful man in Italy. Yet no one had seen his face in 30 years. No phones, no emails, no digital trace. He ruled Sicily's underworld through Pizzini, tiny handwritten notes, folded like secrets and carried by trusted hands. Each whisper could trigger a bombing, a bribe, or a killing. He orchestrated terror with pen and silence. Judges, journalists, bystanders, explosions in Palermo, blood in the streets, orders from a ghost. But while the world hunted him, Denaro lived in comfort, not in caves, villas, not online, off-grid. His fortune hid in Renaissance paintings, shell companies, and deep chain banks. He was a billionaire without a signature, a king without a crown. And when it ended, it wasn't a shootout. It was a glance. A doctor saw a face in a cancer clinic, a little too familiar, one waiting room, one moment. In 2023, Denaro was finally arrested, but by then it was already too late. His empire no longer needed him. It ran on silence, systems, and shadows. The ghost had built a machine, and the machine kept running. Between 2003 and 2010, Darko Šarić ruled Europe's cocaine trade like a ghost king. Serbia's silent sovereign, Montenegro's unspoken threat. But his reach went global. Latin American ports, Spanish yachts, Dubai high-rises. He didn't run street corners. He ran offshore networks, fake shipping firms, and political favors disguised as deals. His pipeline moved powder across continents and laundered billions back through forged contracts. At his peak, Šarić quietly amassed $27 billion, more than Warren Buffett was worth in 1990. He didn't hide. He hovered just outside the spotlight, visible but untouchable. In 2014, the world caught up. After an international manhunt, Šarić was arrested. In 2022, even from prison, he tried to escape again. And still, he never folded. Judges whisper, witnesses vanish. The empire may have shifted, but it hasn't vanished. Because Darko Šarić didn't just build a cartel, he built a corporation, a shadow economy with him as CEO. And some say he's still in charge. Francesco Sandokan Schiavone didn't deal drugs, he dealt corruption. Starting in the 1980s in Caserta, southern Italy, he led the Casalisi clan, a mafia empire built not on cocaine, but toxic waste. Nuclear sludge, factory runoff, hospital leftovers, he buried it all beneath farmland, poisoning entire regions. While rivals fought over drug routes, Sandokan quietly made $47 billion hiding trash. He didn't just own businesses, he controlled towns. Construction bids, shop rents, city contracts, every euro passed through him. Politicians bowed. Those who didn't disappeared. His estate had a private zoo. Golden Uzis guarded his gates. Power didn't orbit him, it answered to him. So ask yourself, who's more powerful? The billionaire who builds rockets, or the one who makes politicians disappear? If this opened a door you didn't know was there, hit subscribe, because next we'll go deeper into private armies richer than nations, guarding oil fields, warlords, and companies you've never heard of. There's a dark side to money. Welcome to it.